Now I'm here to interview Jack Nicholson on bradensShow. My name is John. He is an amazing, brilliant actor. He's old school, from the movie The Shining, The Departed, and many more. Please welcome Jack Nicholson. Hi, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I gotta say, John, it feels a little strange, to be interviewed on my own show, on bradensShow. Well, that's fine, that's no problem. We're just gonna, like I said, dig deep, as you always see on bradensShow. Now, can you remember the time in your own childhood where you formulated a style of your own to become an actor, Jack? Meaning, was there a point, maybe somebody that you saw that kind of influenced you into acting? Well, I would say it was a gradual thing, and probably is with most people. I mean, it's an unusual choice of an occupation, for a sort of centrally placed male type of guy. Now, when you're out there, in New Jersey, you don't suddenly sort of pop up in the middle of nowhere and say, right, I want to be an actor. I mean, I probably started thinking about doing it after I was doing it already. And vaguely when I was working at MGM in the cartoon department, where I got mainly to observe movies, because, at that point I was kind of starstruck, Well, I still am. Histories of you at school, Jack, relate to a rendering of Managua, Nicaragua, which kind of show people, how does that work, Jack? Oh, right, okay. That was an actual hit song in the early 40s. Which I actually sang at in a grammar school on a variety show with like a red kind of suit. It was rather flamboyant, I would say. Now, you started acting in the Players Ring. Were they a good group? Why, sure, yeah, they were an excellent group. See, a very good thing happened to me there. The production that I actually worked on went to the read-ins, or two productions, where they had two theaters for two full productions, that is. Two plays, of any kind, or less would, cover any actor, in Hollywood at the time. So, it wasn't immediately working at that time, but what was important, I got to see everybody read, so. And that was very encouraging, And I noticed, it's almost like nobody really read well, And I thought, oh, well, hold up a second, this ain't so bad, Not such a huge deal, And from that moment on, I believe it was like a freak occurrence, that would get to see that in a professional situation with other actors that were competing at the time, John. So, and that was for the most part, it was the toughest thing to do, so. And as a result of that, I always read very well. When you actually got into movies, those early films, pre-Easy Rider films, the Roger movies, do they make you wince at all? Or when you see them on television now? Or, well, they all make you winch a little bit, I actually got to do a few things that I like to do. I must say I was in, a lot of dreadful roles before my acting career actually took off. So, but it's all practice, And all the the people I was working with were all trying to do our best, And that's all you really need is like developing in acting, to be trying to do it well. If you can live with the humiliation in your roles, the stages of acting, where it's pretty funny on occasions, then I don't see an issue with it. I always felt that I was lucky, If I had been successful, that early, I would have been in a position where I was trying to make a comeback now, You understand, John? It's like, for instance, the first show that I was in, Michael Landon was the star actor at the time. And while we were doing the play, it got quite bizarre. But at that point for Bonanza, that was good for him at the time. Well, I gotta say, Jack, it's been an absolute honor to meet you. Is there anything that, you'd like to say to your fans? If you want to be an actor, keep on trying, because you just never know what's round the corner. That's beautiful, Jack. Well, it was nice to meet you. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Nicholson.